Alright, and I would like to take this time to remind you guys, when you move into table topics, to use the word of the day. Alright, now with that, we will welcome Victor Nguyen, who will be our table topics master of the day. Thank you.
So I was unprepared. I'm going to find my questions now.
Yeah, Victor!
Okay, got it. We're good. So we've now reached my personal favorite part of this meeting. It's the most nerve-wracking and the most demanding, in my opinion, because you have to give your talk off the cuff. For those who this is your first meeting, or for those who have been but just need a reminder, pretty much the way it works is I have a list of questions that I've chosen, and I'm going to ask somebody in the audience to give a response between a minute to minute 30 seconds. Okay, a minute and 30 seconds. So your fate is held in my hands. I have 15 questions prepared for us. Hopefully we get through all of them. And if you don't feel like you're comfortable enough to come up here and give a talk, you can simply decline, say no, abjure. There you go. But I, along with all the other Toastmaster members, highly encourage you to come up, because the more talks you give, the better you get. So on that note, let us begin. Question number 1. Who wants to go first?
I'll see. Fine, okay, I'll go.
Let's do it. Your question is, you've decided to leave the world behind and begin traveling. What is your motivation for doing so?
Okay, my motivation is 110% Chris McCandless. Do y'all remember him from the book Into the Wild? Okay, so there's this guy, I'm pretty sure he was from Georgia, and he decided, you know what? I don't care about my parents' plans for my life. I don't care that I'm in college. I don't care that I have a scholarship. You know what? I'm going to Alaska. And so he did. He literally dropped everything. He got rid of all of his money. He was like, you know what? I'm just going to go live. I'm going to see what happens. He later died freezing in a bus in the middle of Alaska. But before that, he had a pretty great life. He had a diary, he had journals, and he had people that knew him, and there were other people that didn't really know him for who he was. He completely changed his name. His actual name was Alex. And he decided, you know what? I'm starting a new life. I'm a burgeoning man. I'm going to change myself. I'm rewriting who I am. I'm going to be Chris McCandless. And he decided to just travel the world. He was in the desert, not the world, the U.S., the continental U.S. And he lived in the desert, and he just went around doing what he could, living off basically nothing. And that's something that I've thought about. I've legitimately thought about it before. Not for the rest of my life, and I don't plan to die in Alaska. But I do think it'd be really interesting to just try to leave yourself to your own devices. Just for a few months. See how far you can go. Test your actual strength as a human. That's actually part of the reason why I joined ROTC. I've always wanted military training in my life. But I knew that I was born in Norway. I have Norwegian citizenship. And they have, you have to serve there for a year in their military. Obligatory service. And I thought, I kind of want to do that, but they only accept 1/3 of all of their citizens to come serve there. And I don't know the language, so they're not going to accept me. They're not going to. So I did ROTC to try to better myself as a person. And I'm trying it out this semester, and I think if I do well, this seems like something I'd want to do.
Awesome. So actually, cool note. I was inspired. These questions were inspired by a movie I watched called The Jungle, and it's kind of similar to that movie Into the Wild. So let's see how this next question goes. Number 2, who wants to go? I'm gonna start picking people now. Do you want to go?
He does.
No, I really don't.
No, he does.
Oh, he does.
He just made fun of me, so yes.
I really don't like to go.
Okay, that's fine. You, sir, in the back. Okay. Yes. All right.
I don't think so. Just this.
All right, let's do this. You found that you don't want to be a typical tourist. found a guide who could take you into the jungle. You have to pack light. Besides your basic necessities, what 3 things would you make sure not to leave behind?
Do people count?
You can't take people.
Okay. Alright. I'd get a good book. So I'd get my necessities first of all, right? And I'd have my, I don't know, something to start a fire, some wood, an axe to chop that wood. But yeah, then it just comes down to like, how do I keep myself occupied, right? So I'd bring a book, I'd bring some sort of device, but I wouldn't be able to charge it. So that's another thing. Maybe I'd bring a solar panel that converts sun energy into electrical energy, so I'd be able to charge said device. So those are my three things. And it also depends where I'm going, right? Because if I'm going into the rainforest of Ghana, then there's going to be a lot more pressure for me to focus on stuff that would enhance my survival. But if it's somewhere like, I don't know, if it's a jungle that the Appalachian Mountains or something, that's not too bad, right? I mean, I'm not going to have as much threat to my existence or my survival. So yeah, I would obviously like try to just keep myself occupied. But if it was, I've been to Ghana actually. If it was Ghana, it gets hot, it gets humid, it gets sticky, right? So I would bring clothes that are appropriate. I would carry stuff like pest repellent, insect repellent. Yeah, it really depends where you're going. If it's Antarctica, I'm just going to bring stuff that keeps me warm. So yeah, there you go.
All right.
Marcus over here.
Can we get your names? First name? What was your name again? Sorry, I haven't been
Nadia.
here. Nadia. And you, sir, in the back.
Akif. A-Q-I-D.
Q.
Ivy.
Ivy, yeah.
Awesome. I know. Number 3, I saw a hand. Did I see a hand?
Oh no, just saying you need to write it down.
Okay. Number 3, let's see. Yeah? Awesome. From now on, I'll just let you write your names on the board. Okay, question number 3. For that exact reason. So, you are 48 hours into your hike. You're running low on food because you forgot to ration. What do you do to respond to this crisis?
Hike. Where are we?
The jungle.
The jungle. Oh, perfect. I start eating plants. Because humans, we're not meant to eat meat. Because we only have two of the sharp teeth. If you're meant to eat meat, you have lots more of those sharp teeth, like sharks or tigers. So we're meant to eat vegetables. And from my training, I know when I'm in the jungle, we eat vegetables. Preferably stuff green, not bright, because bright stuff is poisonous, that will kill you. So not like the bright greens, but like the dark greens, kind of on the ground. If I see like a gorilla walking by and he picks up a leaf to eat it, I'm gonna walk behind him, because then I know it's not poisonous, so it won't kill me. And then honestly, I'll just live off vegetables for the rest of my life, because once you're vegetarian, you actually have more oxygen running through your blood. I might become like Tarzan too if I eat everything that gorilla eats. So if I run out of food, it's no problem. Thank you.
What a response. Okay. Question number 4. Who wants it? You there?
Yeah,
Oh,
this.
Okay. Okay, so your question is, The friend that you took along with you for the hike begins to get severe blisters that makes it excruciatingly painful for him to walk. He can no longer go any further. Do you go back with him, or do you leave him behind?
I feel like if we're friends, you would want the best for me. So like he understands the situation. I am fully aware too. So sometimes if people are dragging you down in life, you gotta cut ties with them. So I just have that conversation with them. Just like take it nice and slow, say, hey, we've been friends for a while. Sometimes
Look, there are extremes I'll go for you, but this is not one of them. So you're gonna have to either fall for them or.
I didn't ask you to get blisters. Like this is not part of our friendship. So because we have these differences, we had some great times, but I think it's time to go. Thank you.
Okay. Number 5. I see you there in the back. Let's go. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Liam.
Let us begin. The journey through the jungle is a challenging one. Just like navigating through foreign territory, why is it important for us to have a guide in our life?
Ooh, this is like a deep one. Okay. Makes me think about life. Well, as you said, it's like traveling through a foreign territory. You're unfamiliar with the area. You need someone who maybe can mentor you, show you different attractions along the way. You guys can think about this. You can think about a tour in a foreign country, but you can also apply this to your life. You know, when we're in college, we're young, we're trying to find our way in the world. A lot of us may have mentors or people in our family that we look up to or close friends that advise us, like our parents or even a sibling, cousin. And so a tour guide is similar to that. They help you out along the way so that you don't get lost or hurt. And they teach you about the culture around you so that you are able to feel a bit more comfortable about where you are. And you learn a lot of cool things along the way and meet a lot of cool new people. So yes.
Number 6. Yeah? Let's do it. This is a hard one.
Oh.
Okay. Number 6. You wake up to see that your guide has disappeared and you're left alone. After waiting for one day, you realize he's not coming back. What are the basic principles of life that you would apply to survival?
So I'm a big fan of fiction, and I believe that miracles do happen. And if my tour guide disappeared, so some of you took religion or heard about Buddha. So what he did, I forgot his name since it was like a bit long. He learned the principle of suffering, and by understanding suffering, he was able to become enlightened. And so my principle is to be enlightened myself. Find some leaves and use that as my clothing so I can immerse myself in nature.
Were you not wearing clothes already?
Abandon that. Like the nature. Go under a waterfall and meditate my life away. hopefully the gravity of the water takes me with it. That way I can flow as one with nature, be one with nature. Because as a millennial, I honestly do not know how to survive without internet and a computer. What makes you think I can survive in nature alone? So, be with nature. If you can't beat them, you join them. That's my principle in life. And so, to that tour guide, I will meet him in the afterlife.
Wow. We're just gonna get deeper and deeper.
Who chose these questions, man? You wrote them.
Number 8. No, number 7. Yeah? You wanna go? With life jacket? That's not what we want to do. Just gonna stick to the one board.
You're giving the fools a good question. Don't let fools.
I'll give you a good one.
Don't do that.
That's gonna be under the flag.
Look, it's just my last name. It's hard to pronounce. You don't want to see the last name anyway. There, perfect. Yep.
Ready?
Sure.
Okay. After a couple hours on your own, a deep fear strikes you to the core. What is that fear? And do you think college students experience that today?
That deep fear that would probably strike me in the forest, in the middle of nowhere, a place where civilization has left me entirely. I would honestly have to think, my God, it's the animals. They're coming from the woods, the trees, the moss. Everything is animated. Everything seems foreign to me. In that moment, I'm just thinking, oh my God, every American horror movie that told me that the woods was a terrible place is right. I hear every crick, crack, creak in the woods, and all my thought is, I need to run. But run where? To the middle of the forest again? Trust me, I'm terrible with directions. I'll be circling around the same oak tree over and over and over again until I fall down and say, well, it looks like it's nighttime and I have no shelter and no fire to keep me warm or to scare away the beasts. So either I'm going to have to climb a tree or become food. Something has to be done. So I would think that primal fear would probably resonate with college students. The fear of the unknown, to be more precise. We live our lives daily just going into this forest, this terrifying forest of trees and moss and rocks and animals. That's just literally the unknown of our lives. We don't know whether or not we'll have a good job. We don't know whether or not we'll actually have good roommates. We don't know whether or not we'll actually sit down and still be able to go to class one day and not fall asleep. That is the one fear that I think most college students would have. The fear of the unknown.
Okay. We have time for another question? One more? Okay.
I know.
So, I had prepared 15 questions, and I was going to take you all through this like huge journey, running out of time. Okay, you're going to fall into like quicksand. You're going to be like eaten by, no, we're not going to talk about that. But okay, last question. Who wants to go? Volunteer. The guest.
Okay.
You've been saved. Your friend has come to the rescue. What are the most important qualities of a friend, and what are you most grateful for?
The most important qualities of a friend who's rescued me in the jungle?
Yes.
Yes. Chocolate. Did the person bring chocolate? Because this is really important when you have been in the jungle and you haven't had any chocolate for a long time. And it should not be your 50% chocolate, 50% cocoa. This should be the 85% chocolate, 15% cocoa. The more bitter, the better, because you don't have sugar in the jungle anyway, so let's just not get your body used to it. But they would have to bring chocolate, and not only chocolate bars, but they need to bring some brownies with this chocolate. With or without nuts, either one is fine, but you have to have the brownies, the chocolate mousse, whatever it is, they need to bring the chocolate. And this person will truly be my savior. Now exactly how they do that, I don't know. They would have to have done something special that didn't require ovens as we know it, because you're not going to find that in the jungle. But chocolate of some sort is what the person who rescues me needs to bring as the most important thing. Thank you.
Okay, and that wraps it up for our table topics. I guess we'll give y'all about 30 seconds to a minute to fill out the evaluations to see who's your top choice. We had Nadia with the motivation to travel, and how do I pronounce your name? Akib with what again? Supplies. Nasir with being a vegetarian. Vivian with leaving her friend with blisters behind. Lima with the tour guide. Yijian with tour guide missing. Alex with going insane in his fears. And Linda with chocolate.
I think you spelled supply wrong.
And just a little promo, if you're interested in what we talked about, these are the thoughts that were going through my mind as I was watching this movie, Jungle, with David Radcliffe. If you're interested in thrillers or anything like that, this movie will mess you up. So, it's free on Amazon Prime.
Did they pay you for that advertising?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Why not?
The Harry Potter guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Daniel or David?
Let's call him Harry, dude.
Yeah.
It's just Harry.
Same thing.
It was really good. It was really creepy.
Yeah.
Wait, what movie?
Jungle.
I just heard Harry Potter. That's all I heard.
Wait, his name's not Harry Potter?
Next room.
What? Enjoy.
All right, thank you, Victor. And just to make sure that everyone was in time, right? Okay, awesome. So yes, continue to fill out your ballots.